Harold Mann back out at Lil Woodrose along with head football coach Blaine Morgan. The Lamar Cardinals weekly coaches show. We invite you to come by every Tuesday evening. We're going to be here through the duration of the season. Just a great setting here, Coach, to hold your initial coaches show at Lamar University.
This is awesome. It's only taken about 18 months, huh?
Well, yeah, of course, the fall season, we didn't have anything last year. We did a spring season. Again, we are talking about the kicking off the Lamar University football season this coming Thursday evening, 7 o'clock, North American University out at Provost Humphrey Stadium. Still plenty of tickets available. Contact the Lamar ticket office. You can go more, lamarcardinals.com. Any way to get tickets. We, Coach, really want to see those fans out there supporting these young men because they deserve it.
They do. They've worked and waited so hard to get to a fall campaign, and we've got quite a few seniors that are playing their last season. I told them today we have a team meeting 2 days before the game and just kind of talk about preparation for the game. And a couple of those guys, it goes really fast. I mean, just you blink and you're a senior and you're done and you're moving on to normal life.
Looking at your depth chart now, during your weekly press conference yesterday, you said you're going to go. We have the two deep here in front of me. You're going to go a lot deeper than that Thursday night. You want to get a look at a lot of players.
We do, and really we're going to be rolling at almost every position. You're going to see tight end. You're going to see 3 to 4 different players. Wide receiver, probably going to see five or six different wide receivers, if not 7 or 8. And you'll see guys at tailback, probably 3 to 4 different guys touching the ball. And then on defense, you'll see probably 3 deep at 2.5, 3 deep at D line, and all the way back. Probably three inside backers, and on the back half, those guys are pretty solid. The starters will probably play most of the reps.
I want to talk about a couple of receivers, starting off with senior Kirkland Banks, a kid out of Lake Charles. Kid's been here a long time and been a big part of the Lamar offense.
Yes, and really I've seen a change in him this fall. He's had an impressive fall. He's probably one of the highlights, guys I would highlight this fall. He comes out, just the way he practices, and I'm excited just to see the jump he makes, just catching the ball, running with it, and the ability to make some plays.
Another young man, Marcellus Johnson. This is a young man that actually recruited, came in here as a quarterback, and now you have him as a receiver. And that, you put those two together, you're really talking about a really athletic young man.
Yeah, you saw him in the first game against Nichols run away from their entire defense on a reverse, got called back. And then you saw him against McNeese go and catch a post, and on the 4th and 5 that eventually led to the game, game tying and winning play. He made a huge run there. And so I'm big time excited about Marcellus. He's got big time ability.
You touched on this a little bit in the first segment, your offensive line, a lot of youth there. But they're hitting the weight room. I mean, they're getting big. You're big up front. You look in certain areas, 320, 298, 314. That's something that we really hadn't seen in the past at Lamar.
Yeah, and in a couple cases, you have guys that have had to lose weight and have gotten faster as a result. So you kind of, as a coach, there's a catch-22 between bringing in a bigger guy that has a hard time keeping off weight, and a guy like Jacob DeSherry that's now 260 here in the last 3 months. He's put on probably 20, 25 pounds, and he'll be playing left tackle. He's a guy to watch.
When you're out recruiting a high school young man and you see him on the offensive line, he may be 250, 260, and you can look at him as a senior in high school, and by looking at his frame, you can say, hey, we can get that kid up to 300, 310.
We do. It's been difficult, but with our first class, we were able to go into the high schools, see kind of their width, and you look at measurable, kind of tangible things, and say, can this kid put on 20 to 30 pounds and play at? And when Jacob DeSherry has a real off season, he's going to be 275, 280, and I'm excited about his future with Lamar football.
Another young man I want to talk about here is Demarco Roberts, 5'8", 170-pound freshman corner out of Aledo. And, he's in your defensive secondary, but everybody across the state of Texas saw that state championship game where he had just an outstanding offensive game and ended up being the Class 5A Dave Campbell's Player of the Year on the offense.
Yeah, he's a pretty dynamic football player, and what we saw is just an ability. What's hard to find at corner is just a guy that is physical, which he is. You saw him running the football. We're gonna have him return a kickoff, so you'll see that we aren't complete, dummies. We're gonna get the ball, find a couple ways to get the ball in his hands.
When you talk about him back at kickoff returns, and of course we talked about Kirkland Banks earlier. You've got a few dynamics, as you mentioned, that on special teams.
We do. Kirkland will be back for punts. You'll see him back there catching punts. Had a couple nice returns in the spring, but you put him and Demarco Roberts back on kickoff returns, and I'm pumped. I'm excited to see, when they get to touch the ball on Thursday night. And if Demarco breaks, he's got the ability to be able to go.
Your kicker, Bailey Giffen, special.
Just a steady guy that it's like seems like he's 25 or something. I mean, he's been here the whole time, and he's been here a long time, and he's steady. He's going to be doing all three. He's going to be punting for us. He's going to be doing kickoffs and field goals and extra points. And so we're asking him a lot of him this fall, and I think he's up to the task.
I remember an extra point in particular last year over in Lake Charles in overtime. And, a lot of people think PAT's a routine. That's not always the case, because when McNeese State scored, your special teams defense blocked it. Then you guys get the touchdown on the Jalen touchdown run. And then a lot of pressure there to put that through the uprights. And Bailey, ice through the veins.
I think people take for granted sometimes those extra points, and until you get a bad snap or you get that block, and then it's the game. It's a game. It's a game changer, and I really see special teams being a place where we can take huge steps, because a lot of those younger guys have made their way onto teams. Older guys have gotten older, and I really think on certain special teams we've got a chance to be pretty good, pretty special.
You kind of touched on it. You said bad snap. A lot of times if a kicker misses a field goal, misses an extra point, the spotlight's on him. But it's three phases. You got to have the snap, the hold, and the kick. And Luke Wallace, is solid deep snapper for you.
He's an incredible. He's just an incredible kid. He's an incredible person. I think he graduated in 2.5, 3 years. So he's in the
Arkansas, an Elite 8 team, one of the top teams in the country. So that'll be a really big challenge for us.
Well, you came here from the SEC. You like taking on those SEC opponents.
Well, it's great scheduling them. Then afterwards, sometimes I wonder why I scheduled them.
But it's always good for us. It's good experience. It's a really good competition.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the 3 BCS programs we scheduled with Arkansas, Alabama, and Oklahoma, I'd put my money on them to win the WAC any day. So we'll certainly be prepared.
What's it take to get, say, and I'm going to use the word FBS type school into Beaumont to play Lamar? I mean, you've had it before, but what's it take to get them in here?
Yeah, I've been around a long time. I have a lot of good friends at a lot of programs, so they're willing to play us home and home is usually the case. So it's sometimes it pays off to be around for a while and have some good friends.
We're talking soccer. Lamar University soccer coach Steve Holman back at Lil Woodrose.
Probably didn't notice, but this.
I did. I tried not to laugh.
Oh, you fell down right behind your head.
Yeah. I don't know, that's such a good opening.
But it.
We're back on the Lamar University Coaches Show. Coach Blaine Morgan and the Lamar Cardinal football team getting set to take on North American University this coming Thursday night out at the Provost Humphrey Stadium. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff. Really excited about it. Get your tickets now and come on out and watch Cardinal football. We're talking Cardinal soccer right now, Coach Steve Holman. And, Coach, we talked about it in the first segment, not that far away from a conference play. Just talk about a little bit the difficulty maybe during COVID-19 and things along that. Has had much of an impact on the program when it comes to scheduling, traveling, practice, things along those lines?
Well, obviously last year was an extremely challenging year with the fall season canceled and a shortened spring season. And just when we thought that we didn't have to deal with that anymore, here it is. It's still here. Fortunately, there are vaccinations, so that's kind of put a little bit of a stop to some of the situations, at least through the athletic department. And you know, we've been fortunate so far to not have a COVID situation on our team. We do realize and understand that that could change things at any given moment.
Correct.
So yeah, we just kind of take it one game at a time, one day at a time, and hope we get to play in the next game.
Something we talked about with Coach Morgan in the first segment. How much of an impact and how much of an asset was it for that spring schedule after missing the fall season?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, to go an entire year without playing against outside competition would be very difficult and challenging, not just for the coaches and the staff, but obviously for the players. I mean, because that's why we're here. You know, we do so much work in the off season. We do so much work just on any given day outside of the practice field that our moment is when we get to step on the field on game day and the lights come on Friday night and we get to play soccer. So that's the best part about our job. So we're always happy when we get to play.
Soccer is one of those sports, obviously. If you watch soccer, you know conditioning plays a huge role because those girls running up and down the field. Just talk about how you conditioning, the program. Do you hit the weight room, things along those lines?
Yeah, throughout our season, it all starts with the summer training program put together by a strength and conditioning coach. And our girls know that they got to do their homework because when they show up at the beginning of August, they're going to have their work cut out for them. It's going to be nice and hot here in Southeast Texas, and it's a physically demanding game. You know, the average midfielder at the Division I level in a 90-minute game will run 6 to 7 miles. So most people don't realize how much work they actually put in, and it's competitive. It's stop and go. It's, you know, you're sprinting, you're jogging. You got to be extremely fit to play soccer.
The schedule of a student athlete, you know, especially for a true freshman coming out of high school, they're not used to this, so they got to adapt. I mean, they go through practice. They've got games. They've got workouts. They've got study hall. Just talk about the life of a student athlete and what they go through on a daily basis.
Well, they need to be extremely disciplined to manage the schedule. And the good news for our sport is our freshmen get in and they get accustomed to everything before school starts. So by the time school gets underway, they already have 20-plus new friends, which certainly helps from a social aspect in that environment. But once school starts, it's really not just about managing their time in class and on the field, but also managing their free time, because now they go from a set schedule they had in high school from 8 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., but they may only have one class on Tuesday, Thursday, so they have downtime, and now can they manage that? A lot of them like to take naps, but can they work in their homework and assignments and weight training and everything, all of the above, because it becomes challenging on both sides of it.
How much do you rely on your seniors and even juniors, for that matter, to take these freshmen under their wings and just show them the path, the highway down for the life of a college athlete?
We rely on them 100%. We actually start by assigning our returning players as a big sister to our newcomers. So every player that comes in has a little sister before they arrive, and their job and responsibility is really just to help them adjust, help explain to the newcomers what it's like and what to expect when they get on campus, and answer any questions they have. So there's only so much a coaching staff can do, so that definitely plays a big role and makes a big difference with their transition. You
know, people coming from different parts of the map, different personalities among a student athlete. Just talk about how crucial it is for a team to get along off the field as well as they do on the field, because someone may be from Beaumont, someone may be from Atlanta, Georgia, Los Angeles. There's so many different locations.
It's extremely important, and that's exactly what we have. We have players we have a lot of international players. So we have players from Texas, we got players from Wisconsin, and then you have Finland, Spain, England, Kenya. I mean, we're an international, and the common denominator obviously is the love of the game of soccer. So yeah, it's amazing that they have that opportunity to get to know different people and different cultures and still all get along. And we're fortunate to have a team that's the chemistry is extremely good. Probably one of the best I've been a part of since I've been coaching.
Have less than a minute to go here real quick. You brought up international players. The difficulty with the pandemic of recruiting an international player, it's so much different than it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, because we can't go over, or we haven't been able to get over there and watch them live, so we have to rely on video. Just across the board, we've obviously Division I has been in a dead period for a year, and we finally got released. So this last recruiting class, I think for some people was a bit hit and miss, because you didn't get to, if you hadn't evaluated them live before the dead period or before COVID hit, then you kind of had to rely on what you knew beforehand. And if from an international standpoint, we did a lot of work from a video standpoint.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for stopping by this week. Really excited about Cardinals soccer, and let's get into the NCAA tournament once again.
We'll do our best. Thanks for having me.
All right. That's going to do it from Lil Woodrow's, the Lamar University Coaches Show.